Different types of animals cells. मैं तो बस हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ, बाद में रिवीजन करने के लिए मदद होगा इससे। बाद में डबल डबल एक चीज़ कौन पढ़ेगा भाई, ये तो पूरा बुक कंप्लीट करना है ऊपर से। Reported that cells had a thin out layer which is today known as the plasma membrane. He also concluded, based on his studies on plant tissues, that presence of cell wall is unique character of the plant. Okay, मतलब ये कि सेल वॉल जो होता है वो बस प्लांट्स में पाया जाता है, not in the animal cell. On the basis of this, Quine proposed the hypothesis that the bodies of animals and plants are composed of cells and product of cells. बस ज़्यादा कुछ समझने की ज़रूरत ना है। Scleden and Quine together formulated the cell theory. इम्पोर्टेंट है भाई, जो चीज़ें इम्पोर्टेंट लगती है उसको हाईलाइट करके रखना भाई, फायदे का सौदा है। This theory, however, did not explain as to how new cells were formed. Rudolf Virchow, 1858, first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. This is important. रूडोल्फ विर्को ने ये जो कांड करा था ये इम्पोर्टेंट है, को कोई और काम नहीं था भाई साहब। He modified the hypothesis of Scleden and Swan to give the cell theory a final shape. Cell theory, as understood as all living organisms are composed of cells and product of cells. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. ये बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। इससे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट शायद ही कुछ हो सकता है क्योंकि पूरा चैप्टर इसी पे बेस्ड है। बाकी ये चैप्टर तो बहुत बड़ा है। यू हैव अर्लियर ऑब्जर्व सेल्स इन एन ओनियन पील। ये बचपन से देखा है भाई, इसके अलावा हमने सेल आज तक कहीं पर देखा नहीं है। सिर्फ ओनियन मतलब प्याज के अंदर का ही सेल हमने देखा है आज तक। खुद के अंदर का भी सेल अभी तक देखा नहीं है हमने। पता नहीं ह्यूमंस के अंदर सेल होता भी है कि नहीं, देखना पड़ेगा किसी को पकड़ के। Let us recollect their structure. The onion cell, which is a typical plant cell, has distinct cell wall as its outer boundary, and just within it is a cell membrane. The cells of the human cheek have outer membrane as the delimiting structure of the cell. Inside each cell is a dense membrane-bound structure called nucleus. This nucleus contains chromosomes, which in turn contain genetic material. क्रोमोसोम के अंदर अपना डीएनए होता है। सेल्स दैट हैव मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड न्यूक्लिया आर कॉल्ड यूकैरियोटिक। इसके अंदर जो न्यूक्लियाई होता है वो उसको अगर मेम्ब्रेन से सराउंडेड है तो वो सेल जो है वो अपना यूकैरियोटिक सेल होता है। वेयर एज द सेल्स दैट लैक मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड न्यूक्लियस इज प्रोकैरियोटिक। बेसिक डिफरेंस होता है भाई, जो एक सेल होता है अगर उसका जो न्यूक्लियस है वो सराउंडेड है मेम्ब्रेन से तो वो प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स, मतलब अपन लाइक ह्यूमंस हैव अ न्यूक्लियस सराउंडेड बाय मेम्ब्रेन, सो वी आर हैविंग प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स। सबको पता है, बेसिक सी चीज़ है, मैं समझा नहीं रहा हूँ, बस अपने लिए। इन बोथ प्रोकैरियोटिक एंड यूकैरियोटिक सेल्स सेमी फ्लूइड मैट्रिक्स called cytoplasm occupies the volume of the cell. The cytoplasm is the main arena of cellular activity. In both the plant and animal cells, various chemical reactions occur in it to keep the cell in the living state. Besides the nucleus, the eukaryotic cells have other membrane bound distinct structures called organelles, like the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, mitochondria, microbodies, vacuoles. The prokaryotic cells lack such membrane bound organelles. Ribosomes are non membrane bound organelles found in a cells both in eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Within the cell, ribosomes are found not only in the cytoplasm but also within two organelles, chloroplast in plants and mitochondria, and on rough endoplasmic reticulum. It's me Chanel. Animal cells contain another non-membrane bound organelle called centrosomes. मतलब in humans and like we have got, which helps in cell division. Centrosome helps in the cell division. Centrosomes and ribosomes are two organs which does not have membrane around them. Cells differ greatly in size. Cells differ greatly in size, shape, and activities. For example, mycoplasmas, the smallest cells are only 0.3 microyum in length, while the bacterial could be 3 to 5 microyum. The largest isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. Among multicellular organisms, human red blood cells are about 7 micrometer in diameter. Nerve cells are some of the longest cells. Cells also vary greatly in their shape. They may be disc like, polygonal, columnar, cuboid, thread like, even irregular. The shape of the cell may vary with the function they perform. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasm. The prokaryotic cells are presented by bacteria. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, PPL, pleuro, pneumonia-like organisms. They are generally smaller and multiply more rapidly than the eukaryotic cells. They may vary greatly in shape and size. The four basic shapes of bacteria are bacillus, coccus, vibrio, and spirillum. The organisms of the prokaryotic cell is fundamentally similar, even though prokaryotics exhibit a wide variety of shapes and functions. Prokaryotics have a cell wall surrounding the cell membrane except in mycoplasm. The fluid matrix filling the cell is the cytoplasm. There is no well defined nucleus. The genetic material is basically not enveloped by a nuclear membrane. In addition to the genome, DNA, single chromosome circular DNA, many bacteria have small. These smaller DNA are called plasmids. The plasmid DNA confers certain unique phenotypic character to such bacteria. One such character is resistance to antibiotics. In higher classes, you will learn that this plasmid DNA is used to monitor bacterial transformation. Foreign DNA. Nuclear membrane is found in eukaryotes. No organelles like the one in eukaryotics are found in prokaryotic cell except for ribosomes. Prokaryotes have something unique in the form of inclusion, a specialized differentiated form of cell membrane called mesosome. Is the characteristics of prokaryotes. They are essentially enfoldings of all cell membrane.